I'm Amber Albanese. I thought you'd like to put a face to the name. This is my second video. We're going to be doing brushes. You're going to see different brushes and what they're used for. If you have any comments, please, number one, like and subscribe, and I will answer all your questions, and you can even tell me what you would like me to do the next video on. I'm open to anything, and I'm going to try and go through everything. So enjoy, and here we go. So here we are. This is my little painting space. I usually have a magnifying glass light, and it's pretty bright. I have it pulled away right now. And I have this light. Then I have some pretty nice natural light. Today it's a little dark because it's cloudy out. So anyway, here are our brushes. We are going to go through each one of the brushes and kind of give you an idea what you use each one of them for. Some of them are a little dark, but I'll pick them up for you. And before that, we'll come back. I did a tiny bit of work on the painting while you were gone, or I wasn't on video. Did a little bit more hair on the brown dog and just started getting the eyes put in a little bit and a little bit of hair going around closer to the other dogs so we can kind of start bringing them in together. Just so you see, I do a little watercolor, oil, watercolor, and that's pastel. So I've kind of done pretty much all mediums. Of course, most of my things are commissions, so I don't have them here, but I do paint. Okay, let's get to our brushes. Okay, so we will start with blending brushes. These brushes are usually larger, and you want to get a good brush like this so it doesn't leave hair behind. All these brushes come in different sizes. Here's another one, as you can see. Blender, big, large blender brushes are usually for backgrounds, so they're larger. This is a bristle. As you can see, it's kind of like bristly. They're usually about that size. I can't find mine. Lord knows what I did with it. Then we have a mop, which looks basically like a mop, and this is great for blending clouds and blending things together. Blending wouldn't probably work well for this, but there's so many things, especially skies, landscapes. This is great. Here's some angle brushes, and all these brushes, as you can see, they all come in different sizes. So this is a round, and there's different sizes of round, but it's, self-explanatory. It's kind of rounded at the top. These are flat. These are filberts. Some people call these filberts too, but filberts kind of just rounded at the top, but flat, not rounded like this. It's round and rounded. Here's your fan brush, self-explanatory. This is another small filbert, flat. This is a filbert. I love this size, and I'm using that a lot right now. These used to be my favorites. I used them for everything. Actually, not necessarily that, but it's not as angled. These angle brushes, I love. This was one of my favorites. Some of them have a better angle, and I love the ones that are really angled. And there's some that have just, you can use it, and it just comes to a little tip right up here. Those are for leaves and flowers and things like that. Now you come to your pointer brushes, your liners. These also come in different sizes. They come to a nice straight point, and you can get them even way smaller than this. But you can also get some that are just called like an eyelash brush. For really, I find that if you keep these well, these come to such a fine point that you can actually use them for almost anything, and until they start getting kind of old and thicker. And here's an older brush. I take my older brushes, don't throw them away. If you want some type of scrubby look, or like a bunch of hairs, or if you want a brush that's good for flicking some paint on, it's good to keep your older brushes. I love bigger angle brushes too. You can also get these in any size. So that's just a basic beginner brush. And you can just get, this is just a set. I suggest getting some of the better sets because you don't want the hairs to fall out, especially on your bigger brushes when you're doing backgrounds and things. But you can find sales, and you can find, you know, different places. Just look around until you find a decent price for a decent brush. There's brushes, okay, so I got all these brushes for if you want to really get into good brushes and you want to do animal hair brushes that are super expensive. Supposedly they last longer. Some people don't care if they have natural hair brushes. I think that these are not natural hair, but they feel wonderful, and they're nylon. And I actually found out that nylon brushes, to me, I've got them all, and I don't know. My preference is really nothing. As long as the brush doesn't lose hair and the brush does a good job, I like the brushes. Now, the cheaper brushes will eventually, you can see where they're put together, and those might eventually come apart. This is double sealed, so that should last a little longer. You can see all these are double sealed. Some, I was like these, and this is actually a better brush, but you can see that it's done completely different. And I don't know, it's slid on and they're glued on, but you can still see a seal on this. This is a good brush, so hopefully you should never have the problem of the brush separating there. Probably in my case, the brush will go bad before it separates, although I've had some separate. So spend a little money on your brushes, but don't, you know, painting's expensive, so do what you can do, but don't ever let anything stop you from painting. This is your palette knife. I am in desperate need of a new one. I just keep forgetting to get one. These come in super handy. Of course, you want to mix your paints with them. And you can paint with them too. I mean, you can really do some cool paintings with these. It takes practice, just like with brushes, but they're awesome. I really like this one because it's real bendable, super thin, fine. So you can like really push in. I'll show you. See how bendable it is? You can really push in to mix your paints, move it around. And so forth. Not much paint on there, but I'm giving you, because I have been painting these dogs, and it was kind of like in the middle of it. I didn't do much without you, but nothing that I'm not going to do today that you won't see. I've started mixing my colors. So you can see I take the colors that are in the same hues and put them next to each other, and then I start mixing for different. I want it to be a lighter dark brown. I put some white in there, a little burnt umber, some black, lighter here, different colors here. I'm starting to do the white dog with some of the darker areas. So some of the background color actually there. The blues for the white dog are going to start coming in. A little of the browns mixed with the blues. Mix some grays. Just, I take these colors and I come up with what I think is what I want. And so you want to play around with your colors, and the more you mix your colors and see what you're coming up with, the better you will be at it. But you can see, I start out with my names, burnt sienna, burnt umber. I try to match when I'm painting. This is glass, it can all be wiped off. Sap green, Payne's gray. You can list all these like I do. And I don't usually use all these colors at once, especially for a painting like this. Sometimes you will, especially landscapes, different things like that. You can tell my paints have been used and abused. This is Gamblin Gal Kid Gel. This is a great mixer, and especially if you want your painting to dry fast, this is awesome. And it's just a clear gel that comes out, and you just put a little bit with anything you're mixing up, especially if you're doing some nice blending, and that works great. We'll get into different whites, different darks, different things to use for what later. Now we can start painting, and I hope you get something from this. And I know there's some people that already know all about this and just want to paint. You can definitely skip through, and then we're going to get to painting. So we're painting these dogs. Did a little bit on that guy. I say guy, it's a girl, but whatever. I did a little bit on this dog, and I just started to do a little bit on this baby's eyes, and kind of bringing in some more hair and bringing these two paws together. So let's get going. All right. I'll come back when I'm ready to paint.